Joining me now from Southern California, President of Wilsey Asset Management, Brent Wilsey. Brent, always good to see you. So regarding this latest comment by the Chinese foreign minister, I know it doesn't seem like much, but is it a promising sign acknowledging the fact that we weren't even really talking just a few weeks ago?
I really think it is a positive sign. I mean, the trade war is hurting China more than us, and they are losing manufacturing plants every day, and that won't come back. I mean, the Chinese foreign minister talks about, goodwill on each side. They need to stop putting tariffs on their exports, and the U.S. will take our tariffs off. So it's a pretty simple. He talks about goodwill, but they got to remember we have a major trade deficit with them. So you can't talk about goodwill and yeah, we'll still have the deficit. No, they've got to come to the table and say we're going to drop these tariffs.
Yeah, and that's the whole reason why we got into this to begin with, is addressing that major trade deficit that we've been experiencing for decades now, and it was only getting worse. I mean, we hear it from farmers all the time in the Midwest. Yes, right now they are experiencing kind of a short-term gain, but they acknowledge the fact that if we didn't do something, they would be wiped out by the Chinese imports over the next couple decades. So really it's a fight that we brought straight there. We knew what we were getting into. Do you expect a deal to come, as maybe the president was saying, maybe sooner rather than later? Or do you think this is going to be a long-haul process?
Well, I think it could be, but I wouldn't count on it. I mean, our economy is still doing well, and China's economy is not doing so well. They show signs of weakness. I know the other day President Trump did say that a deal is closer than people think it is, but I'm still not going to count on that. I'm still going to wait till maybe spring, maybe early summer. But it is positive talks coming out right now.
And in regard to the ongoing impeachment thing, we heard in for example, in the package that we just heard, that there was a little bit of a hit when the impeachment was announced. The stock market kind of fluctuated a little bit because, of course, investors don't like uncertainty, especially when it comes to the highest position in all the lands. So when we hear that, do you think that the ongoing impeachment talks will have an ongoing effect on the stock market? Or do you think that's just kind of one thing that you'll get out of the way and the rest of it should kind of stabilize on its own?
Well, I would have a slight ripple when the impeachment talks came out because that's the initial thing. And then they said, well, okay, well, let's look at this. When the news was first released, yes, it did drop a little bit. But then the markets realized that the chances are very low that President Trump would be impeached. I mean, while the House, and I think the House is wasting their time doing this, obviously, on trying to impeach President Trump because a 2/3 vote in the Senate is required, which means if all the Democrats voted yes, it would still take 20 Republicans to pass that. And I just cannot see that happening. Why the Democrats wasting time in this? It just irritates me.
And regarding those impeachments, I do want to stay on it and how it affects the markets, too, because some people were speculating that because this is ongoing, President Trump may be willing to maybe take a more lenient deal with China in order to get a small victory and kind of overcome this impeachment talk. Of course, his supporters are saying that's ridiculous. He would never do that because, I mean, he would essentially be giving up hundreds of billions of dollars over the span of the whole U.S. economy. Where do you stand on how the administration should approach moving forward regarding China? Is it all things as normal?
Yeah, it's all things normal. I mean, we should keep moving forward. I think I don't like this impeachment talk, so it does give a distraction. But unfortunately, the Democrats keep doing this. I really wish they stopped wasting time here. And gosh, we've got so many important things to work on: the infrastructure, the debt, and so forth. And let's get this trade deal resolved with China. But the Democrats keep fighting Trump on this stuff, and it just takes more of his time to fight them than focus on the trade thing. But I think we'll be fine with it. It's just frustrating when you keep seeing this news and does send the market down a little bit. The market says, oh, not a real problem, comes back up again.
And, too, the USMCA is still waiting for congressional approval, too. So apart from a Chinese trade deal, we're also waiting on that trade deal. Do you think that maybe the American people at some point will say, like, listen, we understand, maybe we don't like the way the president talks, maybe what he did wasn't necessarily exactly in line with what we want to do, but Americans really make decisions based on their pocketbooks. Do you think that will essentially have the wherewithal where they're saying that's the issue that we want more so than anything the Democrats are putting forward?
I believe so. It really comes down to, at the end of the day, do they have a job? Do they feel comfortable with that job? Is the economy doing well? Can they buy, food? Can they send their kids to college? All these important things are still there. So I think when they go in that voting booth, they're going to say, you know what, I'm comfortable. I don't want to change because who knows what that change could be. So I think we're on a great path, and I think we will see the trade deal be done, which will give even more positive things going forward.
Right. And as we were saying, we should hear more about those talks, which are set to take place on October 10th and 11th. Hopefully things get moving there. As President Trump was saying, could be a trade deal sooner than we actually think. But Brent, thank you very much for joining us.
Want to see more videos like this? Click on the link below and subscribe to One America News on YouTube, and call your cable provider and kindly demand that One America News is added to your lineup. Call and subscribe today.